While you're worried about your fence height and mailbox color, someone's neighbor called the HOA because they could hear them breathing too loudly through the walls. I wish I was making this up, but this complaint actually exists in official records. What kind of person files a noise complaint about breathing? 1. An HOA in Colorado decided Jim Peterson's 1960s classic truck was an eyesore parked in his own driveway. They had it towed without warning. But here's where it gets crazy. They crushed it at the scrapyard before Jim could retrieve it. His beloved restoration project became a cube of metal. Jim's response? He filled the entire street with junker cars as protest. The legal battle nearly bankrupted the HOA board. 2. Hanging clothes outside to dry seems harmless enough. Many HOAs disagree completely. They've tried banning outdoor clotheslines for aesthetic reasons. Lucky for residents, solar drying rights are protected by law in most states. Still, some HOAs find loopholes by restricting lines in shared backyard spaces. The battle between fresh air and appearance standards continues in neighborhoods everywhere. 3. When Margaret suffered a stroke, her family built a wheelchair ramp for easy home access. The HOA immediately threatened legal action. They called it an unauthorized structure that violated community standards. No compromise was offered: remove it or face court. The family needed the ramp for Margaret's rehabilitation and daily mobility. Legal threats during recovery added unnecessary stress to an already difficult situation. 4. Flying the American flag in your backyard should be simple patriotism. One homeowner discovered his HOA had different ideas about flag displays. Their rules specifically banned all flags, including Old Glory. This created a direct clash with the American Flag Act of 2005. Federal law sometimes overrides HOA authority, but residents often face expensive legal battles. Patriotic displays become courtroom drama instead of neighborhood pride. 5. An elderly woman accidentally underpaid her HOA dues by 20 cents. The board refused to accept coins when she tried paying in person. Late fees kept building on the tiny error. What started as loose change became hundreds in penalties and legal threats. Small accounting mistakes can snowball into major financial problems quickly. Bureaucratic inflexibility over pocket change infuriates residents who just want to fix simple errors. 6. Picture opening your garage door every morning and leaving it wide open all day. One HOA mandated this exact policy for every homeowner. They claimed closed garages looked unfriendly to the community. Residents worried about security, privacy, and weather damage to stored items. The policy reversed after massive public backlash from safety-conscious families. Ridiculous rules rarely survive when common sense finally prevails over appearance obsession. 7. Garden gnomes spark surprisingly fierce neighborhood debates. These cheerful decorations face serious opposition from appearance-obsessed HOA boards. Homeowners get fined for displaying unofficial yard ornaments that break uniformity rules. The focus stays on keeping every lawn identical rather than allowing personal touches. What should be harmless garden decor becomes a serious battleground between individual expression and community standards. Fines rarely stop determined gnome collectors anyway. 8. HOA boards have turned into color-matching experts when it comes to grass. They demand lawns stay a specific shade of green year-round. Yellow patches become grounds for fines, even during drought seasons. Some communities conduct weekly inspections with actual color charts. Homeowners resort to spray paint and green dye to avoid penalties. The obsession with perfect grass creates constant anxiety for residents who just want a decent yard. 9. Trash day becomes a military operation in many HOA communities. Cans must hit the curb at exactly the right time. Not a minute earlier, not a second later. Leave your bin out too long after pickup? That's a fine. Put it out the night before when you're supposed to wait until morning? Another fine. Residents set alarms and peek through curtains, watching neighbors like trash spies. 10. Breed discrimination hits hard when HOAs ban specific dog types regardless of behavior. Well-trained golden retrievers get the boot while aggressive chihuahuas stay because they're not on the dangerous list. One family lost their certified therapy dog because it looked like a pit bull mix. Appeals rarely work. Families face heartbreaking choices between their homes and their beloved pets who've never caused trouble. 11. Every mailbox must look identical down to the smallest detail. One approved shape, one approved color, one approved size. Creative mailboxes that reflect personality, absolutely forbidden. Residents get fined for mailboxes that are slightly faded or have tiny dents. The mail carrier sees the same boring box repeated endlessly down every street. Individual expression dies at the curb where mail gets delivered daily. 12. Paint color battles rage across HOA communities nationwide. Boards approve maybe 6 boring colors for entire neighborhoods. Want something unique? Forget it. Faded paint triggers immediate fines, even if weather caused the problem. Sheds, fences, and garage doors all fall under the same strict rules. Homeowners spend thousands repainting to match the approved palette, watching their personality disappear under beige and gray conformity. 13. Holiday lights transform from celebration into stress festivals. Decorations must go up after specific dates and come down by exact deadlines. Too bright? Fine. Wrong type of bulbs? Fine. Neighbors report each other for violations faster than kids spot presents. The joy of twinkling lights gets buried under rule books thicker than Christmas catalogs. What should bring communities together instead tears them apart. 14. Backyard barbecues face extinction in some HOA communities. Grilling gets banned for smoke complaints and aesthetic concerns. Charcoal and wood become forbidden substances, while only gas grills survive in designated spots. Family cookout traditions die under strict enforcement. Even special events like birthdays get targeted for violations. The smell of grilled burgers disappears from summer evenings, replaced by the scent of conformity and complaints. 15. Birdhouses seem innocent enough, right? Just tiny wooden homes for our feathered friends. Well, tell that to HOAs who classify them as unapproved structures. Yes, you read that correctly. Some boards issue fines for attracting birds to yards, claiming they're safety hazards or eyesores. Bird feeders get the same treatment. Residents find themselves forced to remove these harmless additions, turning their backyards into sterile zones where even wildlife becomes unwelcome. 16. Kids' toys scattered across driveways apparently represent the apocalypse to certain HOA boards. Tricycles, basketball hoops, and plastic playhouses trigger immediate warnings about visual clutter. Families scramble to haul everything indoors after each play session. The irony? These communities market themselves as family-friendly. But when your toddler's sandbox violates aesthetic standards, you start wondering what family-friendly actually means. Childhood traditions get buried under rules that prioritize appearances over actual living. 17. Your window coverings better match the neighbors, or else. HOAs regulate blinds, curtains, and shades with military precision. Specific colors and materials become mandatory across entire developments. Residents get fined for mismatched curtains or visible damage to their window treatments. Even temporary paper shades during renovations spark violations. Personal preference takes a back seat to uniform appearance, turning every window into a compliance checkpoint where creativity goes to die. 18. Fence disputes turn neighbors into tape measure-wielding inspectors. Height restrictions get enforced down to the inch, with homeowners denied basic privacy requests. The weirdest part? Even decorative garden edging faces the same scrutiny. Battles drag on for months over differences measured in fractions. Compromise becomes impossible when boards treat every fence like a potential threat to community harmony. Property lines transform into battlegrounds where common sense rarely wins. 19. Every shrub in your yard needs board approval before planting. HOAs maintain approved species lists that would make botanists laugh. Residents face fines for choosing the wrong plants, even native species that thrive locally. Sometimes boards order complete removal at the owner's expense. Landscaping creativity dies under uniformity demands. Your grandmother's beloved rosebush? Gone if it's not on the list. Gardens become sterile showcases where biodiversity loses to bureaucracy every single time. 20. Security cameras create an odd paradox in HOA communities. Residents need protection, but can't install visible cameras without violating appearance rules. Boards cite privacy concerns while ignoring actual safety needs. Some communities allow cameras only if they're completely hidden. After break-ins occur, disputes escalate quickly. Homeowners find themselves choosing between following rules and protecting their families. The cruel irony? HOAs prioritize the appearance of safety over actual security measures that work. 21. Solar panels represent progress, but HOAs often see them as eyesores. Boards mandate specific placement colors or designs that reduce efficiency. Some homeowners get forced to remove already installed systems. The environmental movement crashes into aesthetic obsessions regularly. Fortunately, laws in various states now protect solar rights from overzealous boards. Green energy adoption slows when communities prioritize uniform roof lines over sustainable living. Progress happens despite HOA resistance, not because of their cooperation. 22. Swimming pools in HOA communities come with rulebooks thicker than most novels. No inflatables allowed? That means your kid's unicorn floaty is contraband. Some boards ban solo swimming entirely, claiming safety concerns. Pool hours get stricter than bank vault access. Guest limits turn family reunions into logistical nightmares. When shared amenities feel more restrictive than a prison yard, you know something's gone wrong with community living. 23. Your car becomes a billboard battleground in HOA territory. Window stickers celebrating your daughter's honor roll achievement? That's a violation. College alumni, decals showing school pride? Prepare for fines. Even family stick figure stickers get targeted for creating visual clutter. The irony hits hard when your parking lot looks like a sterile car dealership instead of a neighborhood where real people live and celebrate their lives. 24. Homeowners plant fruit trees thinking they're adding value and fresh food to their property. Wrong move in HOA land. Boards declare war on apple trees because fallen fruit attracts bees. Orange trees get chopped down for creating unpleasant odors. Decades-old peach trees face removal orders despite providing shade and beauty. The message becomes crystal clear. Grocery store produce trumps homegrown nutrition when appearance matters more than sustainability. 25. Picture getting fined because 3 daisies bloom near your mailbox post. That's exactly what happened to residents who dared beautify their mail area. The HOA board claimed flowers would attract dangerous swarms of bees and insects. Wildflower seeds got labeled as invasive weeds, requiring immediate removal. Even carefully planted annuals face destruction orders. Apparently, sterile concrete landscapes beat natural beauty when committees control your gardening choices completely. 26. Shared driveways sound economical until HOA politics enter the equation. Neighbors argue over who parks closest to the house and whose guests can visit when. Noise complaints fly over car doors closing after 9 p.m. The board steps in with color-coded parking assignments and visitor time limits. Violations stack up faster than Amazon deliveries. What started as cost-saving shared space becomes a source of constant tension and expensive mediation sessions. 27. Planning a garage sale to declutter your home? Not in this HOA community. Boards ban all residential sales, citing traffic concerns and neighborhood disruption. Families get fined for selling children's outgrown toys in their own driveways. Annual community-wide sale requests face automatic rejection. The irony stings when the same board members shop garage sales in neighboring unrestricted areas while denying residents the same opportunity to earn extra income. 28. Window treatments become weapons of conformity in strict HOA communities. Only beige or white curtains visible from outside pass inspection. Colorful drapes trigger violation notices faster than speeding tickets. Residents shell out hundreds for approved custom window coverings, while perfectly good curtains gather dust in closets. Pattern restrictions eliminate any personality from home exteriors. Your living room windows must match your neighbors exactly, turning unique homes into cookie-cutter replicas. 29. Street parking after dark becomes a crime in some neighborhoods. Residents face hefty fines for leaving cars outside overnight, even in front of their own homes. Visitors get threatened with towing, creating embarrassing situations during dinner parties or family visits. Emergency situations? The HOA doesn't care if your garage door broke or you're helping a sick neighbor. These parking wars turn quiet streets into battlegrounds where neighbors spy on each other's driveways. 30. The gentle sound of wind chimes gets treated like a major noise violation. HOAs ban these peaceful garden decorations, claiming they disturb the community's tranquility. Even the quietest bamboo chimes face removal orders. Residents receive fines for hanging them on porches or in backyards. What's ironic? The same boards that ban wind chimes often allow leaf blowers and lawn mowers at dawn. One person's meditation becomes another's migraine, apparently. 31. Kids lose their oldest outdoor activity when sidewalk chalk gets banned. HOAs treat washable chalk art like permanent graffiti, issuing fines to parents whose children draw hopscotch squares or birthday messages. The complaints focus on maintaining clean appearances rather than recognizing harmless creativity. Rain washes away the evidence within hours, but enforcement officers patrol streets looking for colorful violations. Childhood imagination gets scrubbed away by adult bureaucracy. Pretty depressing, honestly. 32. Holiday wreaths face strict regulations that would make a drill sergeant proud. Size limits, material restrictions, and timing rules govern these simple door decorations. Some HOAs only permit artificial flowers while banning fresh ones. Hanging wreaths too early or leaving them up past arbitrary deadlines triggers fines. The approval process for seasonal decorations becomes more complex than filing taxes. Residents submit wreath proposals to committees who debate pine versus plastic with surprising intensity. 33. Even trying to help the environment can backfire spectacularly in HOA land. Recycling bins must be the exact right color, placed in precise locations, and displayed only during narrow time windows. Wrong bin labels or slightly off positioning results in fines. The irony stings when environmentally conscious residents get penalized for their good intentions. Recycling schedules become more stressful than regular trash pickup. Green efforts get buried under red tape and rigid enforcement. 34. Porch furniture transforms into a battleground over personal style versus community standards. Only approved chair styles and table designs pass inspection, leaving residents unable to enjoy comfortable outdoor spaces. Vintage pieces or handmade furniture get banned for not matching neighborhood aesthetics. The patio police patrol regularly, measuring furniture dimensions and checking materials. Comfort gets sacrificed on the altar of uniformity, turning relaxing outdoor areas into sterile showrooms nobody actually wants to use. 35. Tuesday trash becomes a weekly nightmare of precise timing and rigid schedules. Cans must appear and disappear within impossibly narrow windows, leaving working families scrambling to comply. Missed pickup means automatic fines or stern warnings, creating chronic stress every single week. The enforcement feels more intense than airport security. Residents set multiple alarms just to avoid trash violations. Morning routines get hijacked by garbage anxiety, proving that even basic household tasks become weapons in HOA warfare. 36. Christmas trees become weapons of mass fines after the holidays end. HOAs set deadlines tighter than Santa's schedule, usually giving residents just days to haul their trees to the curb. Miss the deadline by even one day, double fines kick in faster than you can say, Happy New Year. Some communities charge extra for artificial trees, treating them like hazardous waste. 37. Screen doors might seem harmless, but some HOAs treat them like architectural crimes. Residents in hot climates get denied basic airflow because boards think screens look cheap or temporary. Even professionally installed ones trigger violation notices. The irony? People sweat inside their homes while the HOA celebrates achieving that clean, uniform look they're obsessed with maintaining. 38. Dogs bark, birds chirp, HOAs fine. Noise complaints turn neighbors into surveillance officers, documenting every peep and yelp. Emotional support animals get zero exceptions from the sound police. Some boards even target bird feeders for attracting noisy wildlife. Pet owners face impossible choices: keep animals silent or face mounting penalties. Community harmony dies when everyone's reporting each other. 39. Safety takes a backseat when solar path lights clash with HOA aesthetics. Residents get fined for adding LED lights to dark walkways, even though they prevent accidents. Light pollution becomes the excuse, but we're talking about tiny solar bulbs, not stadium floodlights. Well-lit paths that could save someone from a nasty fall get removed because uniformity trumps safety. 40. Childhood gets regulated out of existence when HOAs ban scooters and skateboards from common areas. Kids lose their favorite outdoor activities because boards worry about property damage from wheels on pavement. Fines pile up for repeated violations, turning parents into playground police. Young residents discover their own neighborhood treats them like trespassers just for wanting to play outside. 41. Stray cats become collateral damage in HOA wars against outdoor feeding. Residents face fines for leaving even small dishes of food outside, despite trying to help hungry animals. Wildlife attraction gets cited, but we're talking about cats, not bears. Established cat colonies get disrupted when feeding stops abruptly. Animal lovers find themselves choosing between compassion and compliance. 42. Tomatoes become contraband when grown in front yards instead of flowers. HOAs force residents to relocate entire vegetable gardens because fresh food apparently looks less appealing than decorative plants. Families lose convenient access to homegrown nutrition, cramming crops into tiny backyard spaces. Sustainability efforts get crushed under the weight of aesthetic regulations that prioritize looks over practical living. 43. Outdoor clotheslines became the unexpected battlefield for one HOA determined to modernize their neighborhood's appearance. They declared that hanging wet clothes outside looked unprofessional and dated. Residents received violation notices for using solar power, the oldest kind. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Here's the twist, though. Many states actually protect solar drying rights by law. Federal legislation often trumps HOA rules when it comes to energy conservation. 44. Storage wars reached peak absurdity when residents couldn't keep anything visible outdoors. Garden tools, holiday decorations, sports equipment, everything had to disappear inside already cramped homes. One family with 4 kids and a 2-car garage faced impossible choices daily. Where do you put bicycles, lawn mowers, and pool supplies? The HOA's answer was simple. Figure it out, but keep it hidden. Violation notices piled up faster than the clutter inside their houses. 45. Plant enthusiasts discovered their green thumbs weren't welcome when the HOA imposed strict limits on patio gardening. Only 12 plants maximum per outdoor space. Seriously, board members actually counted potted flowers during monthly inspections. One grandmother received 3 violation notices for her herb garden. Apparently, basil and oregano were considered excessive vegetation. The enforcement was so rigid that residents started hiding plants indoors when inspections were scheduled. Neighborhood greenery suffered dramatically under these bizarre botanical restrictions. 46. Garden statues sparked warfare between artistic homeowners and the appearance police. A retired teacher's collection of ceramic rabbits became the center of a months-long dispute. The HOA claimed decorative animals created visual distractions that lowered property values. Religious statues, fairy gardens, even small decorative stones faced removal orders. One family's garden gnome collection, accumulated over 20 years, had to be relocated to their back patio. The community lost its personality, one ceramic creature at a time. 47. Fence painting turned into a neighborhood drama when the HOA mandated specific color schemes for each street section. Residents couldn't choose their own fence colors anymore. Everything had to match predetermined palettes approved by the architectural committee. One homeowner's request for forest green was denied because their street was designated earth tones only. Faded fences triggered immediate repaint orders at the owner's expense. The community looked uniform, but residents felt their individuality had been painted over completely. 48. Basketball dreams were crushed when portable hoops became contraband in driveways. Families couldn't leave hoops outside overnight without facing fines. Even shooting baskets during daylight hours sometimes triggered neighbor complaints about noise and unsightly equipment. One father had to drag his heavy hoop into the garage every single evening. Kids lost their after-school pickup games. The sounds of bouncing basketballs, once the soundtrack of suburban childhood, vanished from the neighborhood streets completely. 49. Television antennas and satellite dishes faced elimination under strict clean appearance policies. Residents were forced to remove communication equipment that had served them for years. Ham radio operators lost their hobby entirely. The weird part is that federal communications law sometimes overrides HOA restrictions, but most residents didn't know their rights. One elderly man's weather monitoring station, his retirement passion, had to be dismantled. Technology upgrades became battles rather than improvements to daily life. 50. Portable pools seem harmless enough. Kids splash around, parents relax nearby, everyone stays cool during summer heat waves. But some HOAs see these inflatable oases as eyesores that must be eliminated. The rules are crystal clear. Only permanent in-ground pools allowed, if any pools are permitted at all. Families discover their fund gets deflated faster than a punctured pool float when violation notices arrive. 51. Rain gutters keep water away from foundations and prevent costly damage. You'd think HOAs would appreciate this basic home maintenance. Think again. Only specific gutter types, colors, and designs make the approved list in many communities. Homeowners face fines for delays in repairs or choosing the wrong style. Water management takes a backseat to aesthetic control, leaving residents frustrated over something as mundane as drainage systems. 52. Washing your car in your own driveway sounds reasonable, right? Many HOAs disagree completely. Water runoff and soap residue create unsightly messes that violate community standards. Residents must trek to expensive car wash facilities instead of handling this chore at home, The irony is thick. Communities demand clean vehicles but ban the most convenient cleaning method. Convenience gets hosed down by bureaucratic rules. 53. Bird feeders bring joy to countless homeowners who love watching feathered visitors. HOAs often view these simple devices as pest magnets that attract unwanted wildlife. Residents face fines for encouraging birds to visit their yards. Arguments rage over property values versus backyard biodiversity. The battle lines are drawn between those who cherish nature and those who fear it might lower home prices or create cleanup headaches. 54. Rain barrels help conserve water and reduce environmental impact. These sustainable solutions collect precious rainwater for gardens and lawns. Yet many HOAs ban them outright, citing appearance concerns over environmental benefits. Green initiatives get blocked regularly by boards obsessed with uniform aesthetics. Residents who try to help the planet find themselves fighting neighborhood bureaucrats instead. Water conservation becomes another casualty of strict appearance rules. 55. Flag flying represents deep personal and patriotic expression for many Americans. HOAs create complex rules about which flags can wave and where they belong. Only national and state flags get approval in most communities. Sports team banners and personal flags face swift removal orders. The tradition of celebrating teams, causes, or heritage through colorful displays gets suppressed by committees obsessed with controlling every visible detail. 56. Pool noodles and floating toys make swimming fun for kids and adults alike. HOA pool rules often ban these harmless accessories entirely. Floating debris concerns and vague safety issues get cited as justification. Families arrive at community pools only to discover their fun equipment violates mysterious regulations. Children's laughter gets replaced by confused disappointment when colorful pool toys become contraband items requiring immediate removal. 57. Welcome mats seem harmless enough, right? Well, tell that to the homeowners who got fined for having the wrong color doormat. Some HOAs regulate everything down to the exact shade and material of your welcome mat. No funny sayings allowed. No family names, no creative designs, just approved beige rectangles that match every other house on the block. Board members actually walk around inspecting doormats like they're nuclear inspectors checking for radiation leaks. 58. Hanging clothes on hangers becomes a neighborhood scandal when they're visible through windows. Residents get warnings for accidentally leaving a shirt hanging where neighbors might glimpse it from the street. The enforcement gets so strict that people are told to keep their curtains closed permanently. One woman received 3 citations in a single month because her closet was near a window. The HOA argued that visible hangers created an unkempt appearance that damaged property values across the entire community. 59. Metal detecting hobbyists face complete banishment from HOA communities, even on their own property. The boards treat treasure hunting like it's archaeological vandalism, issuing fines for any soil disturbance. Kids miss out on one of childhood's great adventures because someone decided that searching for buried coins threatens the pristine lawn aesthetic. Meanwhile, the same communities allow lawn aerating services that create hundreds of holes every spring. But heaven forbid someone looks for lost jewelry with a metal detector on a Saturday afternoon. 60. House numbers become the subject of heated disputes when residents dare to use creative fonts or colors. Emergency responders sometimes struggle to find addresses because the HOA mandated numbers are too small or blend into the house color. One homeowner was fined repeatedly for using slightly larger numbers after paramedics had trouble locating their home during a medical emergency. Safety takes a backseat to uniformity, even when people's lives might depend on clear, visible addressing that actually serves its intended purpose. 61. Sun umbrellas and patio shades get banned while residents swelter in summer heat with no relief options. The HOA claims that shade structures disrupt the open, airy appearance they want to maintain throughout the community. Families are forced to abandon their outdoor spaces during peak hours because sitting in direct sunlight becomes unbearable. Pool areas offer no respite either since portable shade isn't allowed there. The irony hits hard when board members complain about low participation in community outdoor events during blazing summer months. 62. Outdoor music systems face complete prohibition, turning backyard gatherings into silent affairs where conversations compete with traffic noise. Even low-volume speakers during family barbecues result in violation notices and escalating fines. Wedding receptions and birthday parties become awkward, hushed events because someone decided that any amplified sound disrupts the community's peaceful atmosphere. The enforcement often depends on which neighbors decide to file complaints, creating an environment where residents report each other anonymously over the smallest perceived infractions. 63. Driveway uniformity reaches absurd levels when HOAs mandate identical textures, colors, and finishes across entire neighborhoods. Homeowners who installed expensive decorative concrete before moving in face thousands of dollars in forced renovations to match the approved standard. Storm damage that affects driveway appearance triggers immediate violation notices, even when insurance claims are still pending. The board measures everything from aggregate size to color variations, treating driveways like they're pieces in a giant matching puzzle that must remain perfectly coordinated forever. 64. Tree houses represent childhood dreams. Building one meant adventure, secret hideouts, and endless imagination. But many HOAs crush these dreams faster than you can say safety violation. Boards cite appearance standards and unauthorized alterations as reasons for removal. Kids watch their magical kingdoms get torn down while parents face hefty fines for creating memories. 65. Nothing says safety first like a homemade street sign warning drivers about children at play. Yet HOAs regularly fine residents for installing these common-sense additions to their neighborhoods. Only committee-approved signage makes the cut, even when city officials support the safety measures. Boards sometimes remove helpful signs that drivers actually appreciate, leaving kids more vulnerable than before. 66. Garden hoses seem innocent enough. You water plants, wash cars, clean patios. Simple stuff, right? Well, not according to HOA boards obsessed with visual perfection. These essential tools must vanish from sight immediately after use. Neighbors become hose police, reporting coiled enemies left on driveways. Watering your garden transforms into a complicated dance of storage and retrieval every single time. 67. Storm season brings enough headaches without HOA drama, but mismatched roof shingles after repairs trigger expensive enforcement battles. Boards demand perfect color coordination across entire roof lines, even when insurance covers only partial damage. Homeowners face impossible choices between financial ruin and rule compliance. The weird part is that uniformity matters more than actual protection from weather. 68. 3 dandelions equal instant HOA violation. Boards patrol neighborhoods like weed-hunting bounty hunters, issuing fines for minor overgrowth. Residents spend weekends obsessing over every blade of grass while common areas flourish with ignored weeds. The double standard drives people crazy. Your yard gets microscopic inspection, but shared spaces look like abandoned lots. 69. Dogs need exercise and fresh air. Makes sense, right? But HOA rules eliminate safe spaces for pets to run and play freely. Fenced dog runs get banned for appearance reasons, while no alternatives get provided. Well-behaved animals lose outdoor freedom because boards prioritize visual uniformity over animal welfare. Pet owners feel trapped between their furry family members and strict regulations. 70. Home fitness enthusiasts face unexpected obstacles in HOA communities. Pull-up bars, weight benches, and exercise equipment get banned from outdoor spaces for being unsightly. Health goals take backseat to neighborhood aesthetics, while expensive gym memberships become the only option. Neighbors complain about visible dumbbells, but ignore their own cluttered patios. Personal wellness loses to appearance politics every time. 71. Emergency preparedness becomes a nightmare when your HOA decides portable generators need approval first. During Hurricane Maria, residents faced fines for using backup power without proper paperwork. The board argued noise complaints and safety concerns justified the restrictions, but when the lights went out for weeks, those same board members mysteriously had generators humming in their own backyards. Emergency situations don't wait for committee meetings, yet some HOAs treat disasters like routine maintenance requests. 72. Walking becomes warfare when your footwear violates community noise standards. One Florida HOA issued warnings to residents wearing flip-flops in shared hallways after 10 p.m. High heels on wooden decks triggered neighbor complaints about excessive noise disturbances. The board established quiet hours that included specific shoe restrictions. Residents started tiptoeing around their own community, literally changing footwear to avoid fines. Normal activities like getting mail or walking to cars required strategic planning around acceptable shoe choices. 73. Window air conditioning units spark heated battles over appearance versus comfort. Many HOAs ban visible AC units, forcing residents into expensive central air installations. Low-income families suffer most during sweltering summers, unable to afford thousands in upgrades. The board prioritized curb appeal over basic cooling needs. Heat waves become health emergencies when aesthetics trump survival. Some residents risk fines by installing units anyway, hiding them behind creative landscaping or strategic curtain placement. 74. Personal drones face immediate grounding in most HOA communities, even for harmless recreational flying. Privacy concerns drive zero-tolerance policies that ban all aerial devices from neighborhood airspace. Tech enthusiasts receive fines for brief flights over their own property. The board treats toy drones like surveillance equipment, ignoring recreational use entirely. Hobbyists migrate to public parks, losing convenient practice space. Modern technology adoption slows when outdated policies fail to distinguish between legitimate privacy concerns and innocent fun. 75. Garden ornaments disappear faster than seasonal flowers under strict HOA appearance codes. Decorative statues, colorful pinwheels, and whimsical yard art trigger immediate violation notices. Some boards include holiday decorations in their ornament bans, creating year-round enforcement headaches. Neighbors compete to maintain the most sterile-looking landscapes possible. Personal expression gets buried under uniformity requirements that strip personality from every yard. Creative gardeners feel like they're decorating prison courtyards instead of their own homes. 76. Pet ownership becomes a bureaucratic maze when HOAs maintain approved animal lists that exclude common household companions. Rabbits, birds, and reptiles often face prohibition despite being quieter than approved dogs. Strict registration systems require documentation for every furry, feathered, or scaled family member. Surprise inspections catch residents with unapproved pets, leading to removal orders. Animal lovers relocate entirely rather than surrender beloved companions. The emotional toll hits hardest when therapy animals get classified as prohibited breeds. 77. Fire pits get extinguished permanently by safety-obsessed HOAs that ban all open flames on residential property. Backyard gatherings lose their cozy centerpiece as boards cite smoke complaints and liability concerns. Social traditions like roasting marshmallows or evening conversations around flames become impossible. Residents face fines for lighting even small, contained fires during special occasions. The community atmosphere shifts indoors, losing opportunities for neighbor interaction. Safety concerns override decades of responsible fire pit use by eliminating the option entirely. 78. Garage doors seem pretty straightforward, right? Paint them, open them, close them. Well, not in some HOA communities where even your garage door color becomes a battleground. These boards create approved color palettes that would make a paint store jealous. Want to paint your garage door forest green instead of the mandated beige? That'll be a fine. Some residents have waited months just to get approval for a slightly different shade of white. The board debates every single variation like they're choosing colors for the White House. 79, your car windows tell a story. School spirit stickers, family decals, maybe a funny bumper sticker. But certain HOAs want those windows spotless and sticker-free. They'll fine you for displaying your kid's honor roll achievement or your college alumni decal. One resident got penalized for a small rainbow sticker, another for a baby on board sign. The enforcement gets so strict that people park backwards in their driveways to hide their rear windows. Appeals rarely work because the board considers any visible sticker a violation of their clean appearance standards. 80. Got a boat, an RV, a trailer for weekend camping trips? Better find somewhere else to park it because your own driveway is off limits. Heavy vehicle parking restrictions hit hard, forcing residents to pay hundreds monthly for off-site storage. The rules don't care if you're loading up for vacation or unloading after a fishing trip. Even a few hours in your driveway can trigger fines. Some people sell their recreational vehicles entirely rather than deal with the hassle and expense. Emergency situations don't get exceptions either. Your broken down truck still counts as a violation. 81. Online shopping meets HOA bureaucracy in the strangest ways. Some communities restrict how many packages can sit near mailboxes or in common delivery areas. Too many Amazon boxes? That's a fine. Holiday shopping season becomes a nightmare when residents get penalized for their delivery frequency. The rules impact everything from grocery deliveries to prescription medications. People start timing their orders differently, asking neighbors to accept packages, or paying for expensive delivery services that bring items directly to their door. The convenience of modern shopping gets tangled up in appearance regulations that nobody saw coming. 82. Picture this absurdity. An ambulance parks outside during a medical emergency, and the HOA still issues a violation notice. Emergency vehicle parking bans reach ridiculous levels when boards prioritize visual consistency over human safety. Fire trucks responding to calls, paramedics saving lives, even police investigating crimes can trigger complaints from the association. Residents recovering from medical emergencies find violation letters waiting for them. The board rarely makes exceptions, even when presented with hospital records or emergency service documentation. Community safety takes a back seat to maintaining that perfect, undisturbed neighborhood appearance. 83. Remember tire swings? Those classic backyard fixtures that defined childhood for generations? Many HOAs have banned them completely, citing safety concerns and aesthetic violations. Families discover their beloved swing sets don't meet community standards and must be removed. The rope hanging from that perfect climbing tree becomes a violation notice waiting to happen. Kids lose out on timeless outdoor fun while parents face fines for installations that seemed innocent enough. Even professionally installed swing sets can get targeted if they don't match the HOA's approved play equipment list. Appeals typically fail because boards won't budge on playground regulations. 84. Your porch light seems harmless until the HOA lighting police show up. Only specific fixtures, bulbs, and brightness levels make the approved list in many communities. Colored bulbs for holidays? Violation? Motion sensors for security? Better check the rules first. Some residents get fined for LED lights that are too bright or decorative fixtures that don't match the neighborhood standard. Holiday lighting becomes a minefield of regulations, covering everything from wattage to display hours. People submit formal requests just to change a burned-out bulb to a different brand. The board controls your home's nighttime atmosphere down to the smallest detail. 85. Satellite dishes turn HOA board members into aesthetic warriors overnight. These curved metal objects supposedly ruin the clean lines of neighborhood architecture. Homeowners get slapped with fines for wanting better TV reception or international channels. The irony? Many HOAs demand cable subscriptions that cost 3 times more than satellite service. Federal regulations sometimes override these bans, but most residents don't know their rights. 86. Tree trimming becomes a bureaucratic nightmare when HOAs get involved. You can't prune your own branches without filling out forms and waiting weeks for approval. Meanwhile, that dead limb hangs over your roof like a ticking time bomb. Homeowners pay landscapers to sit idle while boards debate whether removing 3 inches affects the community canopy. Emergency storm damage? Still need permission before touching those fallen branches. 87. Smart doorbells represent the ultimate clash between modern security and outdated HOA thinking. These devices record visitors and deter package theft, but boards ban them for privacy concerns. What's really happening? Control-obsessed committees can't stand residents having their own surveillance systems. Homeowners choose between safety and compliance. The same boards that ignore actual crime suddenly care about digital privacy when it threatens their authority. 88. Roof repairs turn into financial disasters when HOA uniformity rules kick in. Storm damage affects just your house, but mismatched shingles violate appearance standards. Suddenly, you're re-roofing the entire structure at massive expense. Insurance covers storm damage, not aesthetic upgrades demanded by committees. Homeowners face impossible choices: live with leaks or drain savings accounts. Appeals get denied faster than you can say architectural consistency. 89. Bicycle registration systems reveal HOA micromanagement at its finest. Your 10-speed needs paperwork like it's a motor vehicle. Kids can't ride spontaneously without checking registration status first. Enforcement officers patrol neighborhoods looking for unregistered bikes like parking meter attendants. Families with multiple bicycles spend hours on bureaucracy instead of enjoying rides. The same boards that complain about inactive children create barriers to outdoor exercise. 90. Outdoor rugs become criminal evidence in HOA courtrooms. These innocent pieces of fabric apparently destroy property values through their mere existence. Residents receive violation notices for adding comfort to concrete patios. Board members conduct rug raids during regular inspections, measuring dimensions and checking colors against approved lists. The war on outdoor carpets makes about as much sense as banning welcome mats, which some HOAs actually do. 91. Water features transform peaceful gardens into battlegrounds over board approval. Residents install small fountains for relaxation, then face removal orders and fines. Committees debate whether bubbling water constitutes noise pollution or visual disruption. The same boards that approve community pools somehow find backyard fountains threatening. Homeowners discover that adding tranquility requires navigating bureaucratic rapids first. Garden Zen becomes garden stress when HOAs control every water drop. 92. Solar-powered holiday decorations seem like the perfect eco-friendly solution for festive displays. They're bright, energy-efficient, and environmentally responsible. But some HOAs have other ideas entirely. These communities actually ban solar holiday lights, citing concerns about light pollution or unsightly battery storage units. The irony is thick here. An organization supposedly concerned about property values actively discourages residents from using clean, renewable energy for their celebrations. Homeowners who invest in these green alternatives find themselves slapped with fines instead of praise. 93. Pet leash requirements make sense in public areas. But what happens when your own backyard becomes a prison for your furry friend? Some HOAs demand that pets remain leashed at all times, even in their owners' private yards. Board members conduct regular inspections to ensure compliance. Dogs can't run freely on their own property. Cats face similar restrictions. The policy treats every pet like a potential menace, regardless of size, temperament, or training. Pet owners watch their animals lose the simple joy of unrestricted movement in familiar territory. 94. Composting transforms kitchen scraps and yard waste into rich soil amendment. It reduces landfill burden while creating valuable garden nutrients. Yet certain HOAs treat compost piles like toxic waste dumps. They cite concerns about odors and pest attraction, issuing fines for even small, well-managed piles. Residents pursuing sustainable living practices find themselves penalized for environmental responsibility. The disconnect between modern ecological awareness and rigid community rules creates ongoing tension. Green-minded homeowners must choose between their values and their wallets when garbage trucks haul away perfectly good organic matter. 95. Personal artistic expression takes many forms in residential settings. Sculptures, paintings, and creative installations can transform ordinary yards into inspiring spaces. But HOA boards often view resident artwork as visual pollution rather than cultural enhancement. Students displaying school art projects face citations. Hobby artists receive fines for garden sculptures. The rules prioritize bland uniformity over creative diversity. Communities lose opportunities for local cultural development. Neighbors who might enjoy varied artistic displays never get that chance because boards preemptively eliminate any possibility of aesthetic adventure or individual creative expression. 96. Bird baths seem innocent enough as garden accessories. They provide water for wildlife while adding decorative charm to outdoor spaces. However, some HOAs classify these simple features as problematic installations. Board members cite mosquito breeding risks and aesthetic concerns as justification for bans. Homeowners must remove cherished wildlife supporting elements from their gardens. The policy eliminates opportunities for residents to observe and support local bird populations. Nature enthusiasts find themselves choosing between community compliance and their desire to create wildlife-friendly environments in their own yards. 97. Weather vanes represent centuries of functional folk art tradition. These rooftop fixtures combine practical wind direction indication with decorative appeal. Modern HOA boards often dismiss them as outdated eyesores that disrupt community visual consistency. Residents receive fines for installing even small garden versions. Historic charm gets sacrificed for contemporary uniformity standards. The ban eliminates connections to agricultural heritage and traditional craftsmanship. Homeowners who appreciate classic Americana find their aesthetic preferences unwelcome. Communities lose character as every distinctive architectural element faces potential elimination through increasingly restrictive appearance regulations. 98. Home-based businesses represent entrepreneurial spirit and economic flexibility. Small ventures often start in residential settings before growing into commercial success stories. But HOA restrictions on outdoor business signage can strangle these enterprises before they flourish. Entrepreneurs face fines for simple driveway signs advertising services. Marketing becomes nearly impossible without visible identification. The rules favor established businesses with commercial locations over innovative neighbors building something new. Community economic development suffers when residents can't promote legitimate services. Local commerce opportunities disappear as restrictive policies push small business owners toward more permissive neighborhoods. 99. Children organizing clubs sounds innocent enough, right? Wrong. Some HOAs have banned kids from meeting regularly in common areas like playgrounds or community centers. The boards cite noise complaints and potential property damage as justification. Young entrepreneurs trying to start lemonade stands or book clubs face actual fines. Parents who advocate for their children's social activities often get ignored completely by HOA boards who prioritize quiet over childhood development. 100. Holiday spirit meets bureaucratic madness when HOAs ban decorative mailbox covers. Those cheerful pumpkin covers for Halloween? Fined. Christmas wreaths on mailboxes? Also fined. Sports team covers during playoffs get residents in trouble too. The boards insist that plain, uniform mailboxes maintain property values better than festive displays. Neighbors who dare to celebrate seasons with mailbox decorations face penalties that can escalate quickly. Holiday traditions get crushed under the weight of aesthetic uniformity rules. 101. Want to plant a tree in your own yard? Better ask permission first. HOAs require board approval for every single tree species and placement location. Residents who plant unapproved trees face expensive removal costs. The approval process can take months, killing saplings while homeowners wait. Environmental benefits take a backseat to visual consistency concerns. Families hoping to create shade or privacy through landscaping discover their green thumbs clash with red tape bureaucracy that strangles natural beautification efforts completely.